Morning, campers. Everybody a little chilly this morning? Yes, it's cold. It's very, very cold. We got the cold front coming through, which is going to be for a couple of days. Then we're going to warm up for 1 or 2 days, and then we're going back down again. So basically, it's only going to be about 43 degrees. It was 38 this morning when I woke up. It didn't get hot until just now, which is, let's see what time it is, 11 o'clock. We just hit 48 degrees. I just took my jacket off because I'm sitting in the sun. I put this down so you guys could see me. Yeah. Very cold. Very, very cold. So I've been sitting. I spent yesterday all day in the one spot. It's a very large, extra jumbo large, like mile-long parking lot. So I went from one end to the other end. I had to do a little shopping this morning. I had to go to Walgreens, pick up a few things. So I talked to my girls inside, and they said they don't care if I'm here all day. They want me to be safe, and they're worried because there's a lot of stuff going on in the area. We had a big whoop-de-doo over at the Air Force Base. Everything was shut down. They completely shut down A1A for about 15 hours. And let me tell you, to shut down a main highway like that, that's some badass stuff. It was some kind of a car accident. But they shut down the bridge. We couldn't leave. The people on the island, Merritt Island, could not leave, well, Cocoa Beach Island. We have two barrier islands. We have the mainland, then we got Merritt Island, then you go over another bridge to the beach island. Okay, there's two rivers in between going to the beach. That whole main artery was just shut down, and they shut it down from where they shut it down from one bridge all the way up to the other major bridge that goes across. That's a 25-minute ride. So about a 30-mile stretch beyond where the accident was to 20 miles in the other. So we had like over 40 miles worth of road shut down. And to shut that down for that length of time from like 6 o'clock at night till the middle of the afternoon the next day, that was a lot. Whatever happened outside the Air Force Base, and we got all kinds of jets flying around in pairs. And I found out what that was. There was a breach in the one of the military bases. Someone broke in, stole a bunch of Humvees, a bunch of great big guns that go on top of the Humvees, along with the stands to be able to put these mobile guns, which shoot, I believe, 50 caliber bullets out of it. They went missing. The only thing they weren't able to get, which is a joke when you see the list of stuff on the news that they actually stole out of this military base while the fires are going on in California and everybody was distracted. It happened after the National Guard was being deployed. So while all that was going on, zoom, they snuck right in and drove right out. I'm not kidding you. The only warehouse they could not get into was where the uniforms, it's the uniform storage, where they have their hats, their helmets, their uniform, the American flag, the boots, all right, everything they physically wear on their person. That was the only warehouse that they couldn't get into, and they were about to be caught, and people were chasing them, and they just drove in line and drove right out the front door with everybody else unnoticed. And that happened on the same day that happened in California. I threw up a video on the community post. They set an entire block of Brooklyn on fire. 5 to 7 apartment buildings And I'm talking, like 8 stories, old brick buildings. This was out in down in Brooklyn, or was it the Bronx? They keep saying the boogie down Bronx, but I actually think it was Brooklyn where it was happening. I'm not sure. It might be right on the borderline over there. But yeah, they're just getting it contained. It took them hours, and those buildings are just gone because some of those buildings are over 100 years old. My building when I was in high school was built during World War One. So that goes to show you the age of some of the buildings in New York and New Jersey. Everybody thinks it's just New York. New Jersey is just as old as New York when it comes to those buildings. But those buildings where it takes an entire city block, which can be a half a mile long, when they do rows of buildings that are connected side by side by side by side, underneath those buildings are tunnels where they had laundry facilities, storage units, and where the garbage is, and where the supers live. Now, one super could be in charge of 3 separate buildings. So to be able to get from building to building doing repairs so they don't have to go outside, they just run underground. So we used to play in these tunnels as kids. Problem is those tunnels under the buildings, as they got older, started collapsing and caving in. So when that starts happening and things start going wrong, those old tunnels are giving way, and the inside, the whole, not the brick walls, the inside of the building start falling down. We used to have chucks about, when we got up to 1.5 inches high, to where we were trying to level out our furniture because the floor had fallen 2 inches straight down, and you could see it. The wall's here, and now the floor's down here, and there's a big hole of where the wall used to meet the floor, and now there's nothing. So, yeah, they got most of those people in the lower apartments where the fire didn't affect, say it got the first 4 floors, they all got to get out. They can't even stay there. So it's a mess. Check that video out on the community post. Things are okay. Everything is still the status quo. I'm gonna leave the GoFundMe up for 2 more days, and then I gotta go back in to make sure that there's no other hidden fees. I forgot the tax down here was 8.5%. So I'm looking at least $80 to $100 on the tax. So if I got it, I got it. If not, I'll have to wait till I get paid. I got 20 days to go, so I can milk this for another 2 weeks. And then I'll do the taxes out of my money and anything extra over whatever I raise. But again, I'll explain what's wrong, because a lot of people are sending me things about the pump. I had made an update. The code came up that the fuel oil pump was going. Now, under that P05DD, whatever it was, the code for the fuel oil pump came up. Right now, the fuel oil pump, the oil pump is working fine. The problem is the sensor is sending in way too much oil into the oil housing unit, which is on top of the engine. That's leaking. That's what's leaking, not the oil pump itself. So I thought, okay, we don't have to rip half the car out, but yeah, it's the same amount of hours. It'll be 4 hours to replace the oil housing unit, and then an hour to change out the sensor, which puts us at 5 hours labor. 2 hours to take it out, clean it up, do its thing, and 2 hours to put it back. So 4 hours just for the oil housing unit itself, of where it is and where they got to get to to clean this out, plus the cleaning. They got to clean up this engine. It's full of oil. I got little bits of smoke coming out to where the oil is actually hitting that hot ass engine in there, because it is big. This minivan, this particular one, it's like having an F-150, super heavy duty. Okay, this is a big engine. It gets hot that you cannot touch the hood of that car within 5 minutes of the car being on. And that's in the winter, okay? It's a big engine. It's a big engine. This minivan acts and drives like a truck. It is not your average little minivan, you know, not like one of those little Kias or a Toyota. No, this is a Dodge Ram. It's a truck engine in there, okay? So that sucker gets hot. And the minute, it's like a frying pan in there. The minute that oil hits, right away it starts burning. And when we realized what was going on, I said to him, on top of the engine is a cover, which has a huge, thick piece of foam like this, and then it's hard plastic case on the top, and it just sits and gets screwed down on top of the motor. It keeps the noise down, rattling or whatever it does, who knows. When I first got in the car, we couldn't figure out, because it wasn't leaking yet, why the inside of that foam on two spots, one on each side, one on the passenger side, one on the left side, which is where the oil's coming out, why it was melted into a hard resin, all right? It was setting that thing on fire. So when I sat down with Firestone the first time, when I first got the car, I said, look, we're going to take this off because we need to watch what's happening. Something's going wrong. We can't find it. I think it's the housing unit, but there's no oil dripping out. Something's going wrong here, but we need to just take this off, because he was worried about it catching fire under the hood. So we got rid of that. It's just a noise controller, so you don't hear your engine revving. It does nothing. Because I see a lot of other years of this van don't have it either. So that's the issue. The oil light's not coming on, it's not dropping oil pressure, and I'm not losing oil. It's just being flooded with too much that's overwhelming the housing unit, and it's leaking. So obviously we need a new gasket. The case could be cracked. If it's not cracked, then I just need a new gasket. So we're trying to get ahead of the game a little bit. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that no one thinks that who's looked at the car, and I've had 4 guys look at it so far in the last week. Everybody's giving me the same amount of money, the same amount of hours, and the same parts list, which is the oil sensor and the housing unit. If it were the oil pump, I wouldn't be able to drive the car. There'd be all kinds of noises coming out, and I'd be having issues when I hit the gas. None of that is happening. I hit the gas, taking off smooth, stop, start, starts up fine, shuts off fine. Everything is fine except for the drip. So I have to get in there every couple of days and wash off the engine. I'm trying to keep ahead of that oil building up, because I don't want a fire. And yes, I got a fire extinguisher right in the front seat, right next to me, just in case anything goes wrong in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, that's the holdup. That's the holdup. Now I went online. The quote for the parts is exactly the same. If I ordered them myself and found someone else to do the repair, it won't be any cheaper. I would save maybe $140 if I go to a mom and pop shop on the labor cost. But this is the issue. Warranty. This is a huge repair to make. This part runs your engine, and I can't, in what's happening around me here, store after store after store is closing because everybody's broke. The rent is through the roof. $8 for eggs. I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, it's just outrageously ridiculous. My head hurts right now. Try not to think about this, but no other lights are coming on, and it's not throwing any other code. and we can pretty much see what's going on. There's only one other part underneath the engine, and what we're hoping is that this hot boiling oil did not damage anything else underneath, which doesn't seem to be. Everything just looks dirty, you know? So I can only get a certain amount of the engine to wipe it down and keep it clean. And doing everything possible not to have to move the car. Which I have. I went to, like I said, most of the stores. I explained what's going on. I need 2 weeks just to get to my next payday. And also, 10,000 people just showed up in Florida. All the snowbirds came down because it's, minus 50 up in Kansas and stuff, Montana now. So we got inundated with people. Just to get your oil changed around here can take 3 weeks to a month to get your oil changed. I don't go to the little 5-minute lube guys, because I went to 5-minute oil change guys, where it's got the little bucket. Okay, if you know that sign, if you have them in your area, don't go to those guys, because me and another friend went to the same oil change place. Within 24 hours, our cars were backfiring. They weren't acting right. We thought we had water. That we both bought gas from a crappy gas station, which probably had condensation. The place floods a lot where we were at the time. Just every day, where that gas station was downhill, running and getting flooded out every single week with a huge storm coming through, especially in the summer and the rainy season. So I said, okay, we got gas and water in the gas. Both our cars were doing the same thing. When I went to Firestone, I came all the way back with the car, barely making it here. Firestone showed me what the 5-minute oil guys did. For $100, they never put in the transmission fluid. They didn't put all the amount of oil they said they put in. They charged me for 6 quarts. They only put in 3. They didn't do anything. They did nothing. They loosened caps on different parts of the car, so stuff would go wrong, so we could come back and have the repairs done. It happened to me and her. We went on. She went, and 2 weeks later, I got mine done. Okay, so this is a practice with that company. I went to Mr. with Richard's car to get the oil changed. Instead of using a wrench to loosen the oil nut, some 5-year-old in there who has no idea what he's doing on cars took a chisel and a hammer to tap the screw that was hot and cut the bolt, a whole section of the bolt, in half. And then proceeded to blame the people who did it before, which was Firestone. They put the car on the lift. They showed me the bolt. It was brand new, clean, shiny metal. Had it been Firestone that did it 4 months ago, it would have been rusted. It would have been dirty. And Firestone don't pull that crap. Before I got to Firestone, I had went to Gatto's to get a quote to find out what's going on down there. They told me that the bolt was broken, and if they removed it, there was no way to get a replacement part. Now get this, ladies, because this is not true. That each oil pan has its own screw, and then it's specifically the hole dug out with the threads. So each bolt, each oil pan has its own screw, and you can't replace it. So you have to change the whole oil pan to get a screw that fits. They don't make aftermarket screws that fit because they always leak. Now I'm sitting there. I've been fixing cars with my father, the race car driver, Marine. Okay, we had 5 race cars. Okay, 5. He was a semi-professional race car driver. We have 5 race cars. Not to mention the Army Corps of Engineers, who fixes their own vehicles because they have to know when they're out on a mission in the middle of nowhere because no one knows where they are, how to fix the Jeep they're in to get the hell out of there. Okay, my father was a mechanic. So he made sure that until the age of 12, I worked on every car that he did any repairs on, okay? I've been gapping spark plugs since I'm 4 years old for my father under the car, okay? So I'm not a nitwit. Gatto's was so bad at telling me it was going to be $1,300 for an oil pan. When I went online, it was like $600 for the oil pan. Are you kidding me? $1,200? How much were they going to charge for the labor? $200 an hour? Besides lying about the screw? You know how much Firestone charged me to fix that? $2. $2. That's it. $2 for the bolt. So I don't go to many places that you don't know. My father's been going to these guys for like 15 years. Okay? My father trusted these guys that he was getting too sick to do some of the repairs on the Jeep himself. He had a Rubicon, tricked out Rubicon. He trusted these guys, and he was a valued customer, lifelong member, whatever. They have a club they're in. So they transferred my father's thing. It transferred me into his valued customer thing. Now they give me a first responder discount. The discounts aren't that big. You end up getting maybe, I think the most I got was $60 off one of the bills. So, you know, it's not like a lot of money, but it's enough. So, and I trust them. They've kept this car running. As you see, I barely make repairs on the vehicle because they take such good care of it for me. You know, they know the position I'm in. And they're good people. They remember my dad. And they're good guys. You know, they do not lie at this particular one. But, you know, they are a franchise and they're owned by Firestone, so there's only limited ways they can help me out, you know. So they quick chucked it on, figured out what it was, went back in, looked at the engine. They did that for free. Normally that's $50, but no one was around, so they just sneaky stuck it on real quick before the manager showed up. But there's no way to cut down on replacing the sensor. It really only takes a half an hour, but because you're a half hour into the hour, you got to pay for the whole hour. So that's where the 5 hours is coming from. It won't take 5 hours. It's going to take a little over 4 hours to do it, but because I'm 5 minutes into the 5th hour, I got to pay for the whole hour. I'd like to take it to someone else to do it. Maybe I'd be saving maybe $200 taking it to someone else. But then I don't know if they're going to be in business a couple of months from now. And that's a big repair to make, and take a chance that this guy's still going to be in business a couple of months from now if something that he did goes wrong. And is this the mom and pop shop? What am I going to do if I got to sue them because they didn't do the job right? I need the warranty, I need the guarantee, and to know that if I go back, that they will fix it. You know what I mean? Because they're good like that. Or my father wouldn't have been there for 15 years. I'm trying to think of anything else. I don't think so. There's a short on here, or the video that GoFundMe made that. They said, they asked, could we do the advertising? And I said, yeah, go ahead. I said, I've never done this before. It's okay. Tell us how much you need, and we'll take care of the rest. So GoFundMe is handling my whole fundraising thing at the moment. So they're the ones who made that 30-second short, okay? I didn't do that. They did. And yeah, it sounds pretty pathetic. Oh my God. When I saw it, I was like, should I just take this down? It goes a little overboard in the pathetic department, but I left it up. So if you're aggravated or you think I did that, I didn't. That was GoFundMe did that for me. But yeah, bad time to be trying to raise money with everything in California. That's the most horrendous thing I've ever seen in my life. And now it's happening in New York. So, I can't think of much else except for that now it's starting to get, we hit about 50 degrees. I can feel it now. I'm sitting in the sun, I'm pulling in about 30 watts, which is good. I'm trying to get everything charged up so I can use my car seat cover and everything else tonight. I'm trying not to use the propane as much because I'm trying to make it through the end of the month without spending anything, you know. I filled the car up full of gas the other day right before this happened, so I have enough gas probably to last me another 15 days. The way I'm driving, I'm just going to where I got to shop and asking if it's okay if I stay there for, 4 or 5 hours. So everybody's being kind enough to let me stay because I've been going to these stores for over 10 years now. These people know me very well in these places because I have such strange issues with medications and insurance, and dealing with the September 11th government paperwork is just, it's horrendous. That's a whole other video, what we gotta go through just to get our medicine and stuff paid for. I'm trying to think. But I think that's about it. Made a little breakfast, so we're camping out at Walgreens for the foreseeable little afternoon. I'll probably leave here about 2 or 3 o'clock. Then I can go to my afternoon spot. But, yeah. They also don't want me, when I drive the vehicle, to go over 40 miles an hour. The higher the RPMs, the more, the harder the engine's working, the more oil is going to get pumped out. So I was going to try to get to a friend's house until I could get it fixed. I can't make the journey because the only way to get there is to do a minimum of 50, and then the other road to get there is minimum 70 miles an hour. I cannot do that. I'll blow the engine out, or I'll have oil shooting out all over the place, catching fire. So that I cannot do. I'm stuck where I am right now for the next 2 weeks trying to get this done. And we got even colder air coming next week. I'm having trouble with this again. My throat is acting up. I was like, I don't need this now. So yeah, I have to drive as slow as possible. That's why I'm doing stuff before traffic and after traffic. So I watch the road, and when things calm down, I quick zip out, go where I gotta go, and stay there if I can't do it after dark. Good thing that Walgreens is open at night, so I changed my hours to normally getting my ice and stuff at night after the traffic dies down, because again, open till 11 o'clock. I can stay over here from 8 to 11 and then leave when they close. So everything parking wise is working out okay. But yeah, it's cold out here. It's cold. So what else? I think that's it. Other than that, everything's okay. Everything else is fine. Except for freezing and hoping to God the engine doesn't seize up on me. Well, I'm trying to get from parking lot to parking lot for the next 22 days. So that's what's happening. I hope everybody's having a better start to their new year. Now I can't see the camera. There we go. Here you are. But yeah. So that's that in a nutshell. But we are getting good sun, which I'm extremely grateful for today. Thank you, Lord. It's starting to heat up in here. I don't have any window blockers in the front. The whole front of the car is like a fish tank over here, and it's nice and hot through the curtain over there, so I'll be able to open the curtain. I'm trying to let the heat build up and then open it and let it flood back this way. But I've been sitting here, in this, getting a suntan. The sun shines in right on the bed, so I pull the curtain down, and the whole bed is in the sun here, as you can see. So we're doing that. So we got a 30-minute video. Gonna get this up while I'm charging. I'm gonna plug this in and upload this. It take about an hour. So before the clouds come, because it's a beautiful sunny day outside, and that's that. So I had breakfast, made some coffee, some toast while we're heating up in the sun. Oh Lord, I see a lot of people wanting to do this because yes, it looks like fun. Yes, I'm sure everybody's editing out half the bad crap that goes on in their videos. There's a lot of lying going on van life channels about what people are using, how they're keeping warm. A lot of these people are hoteling it. They're not living in their car. They're staying in a hotel. Okay? A lot of them are staying in hotels and lying about them sleeping in their vehicles. I'm telling you. These people are going to get someone killed, especially this winter with this crazy minus below 50 air out of Canada coming down. But yeah, if you're thinking about doing this, this is not the leisure life. Number one, the campgrounds have all gone up. Crazy expensive. The gas and the extra maintenance because of the wear and tear on the vehicle. I used to having my house, paying taxes on it, $125 a month left out of that $840. You know what I got now? I'm going to the food pantry because I can't make it the last 10 days of the month. I'm out of money. I am out of money after the $200 for the car insurance, $170 for this stuff, to have unlimited streaming storage and everything else. That's $400. That leaves me $400. That ain't a lot of money. You take out $150 for the gas out of that. That's the rest. That's the rest. If I do no driving and just that's just from parking where I sleep at night to the park, 10 miles to the park and back again. I'm driving 12 miles to 15 miles every day. $200 a month in gas. This sucker takes $60. I try not to let it get below half. But I thought I could get the repair done a little bit sooner. I was already working on it because of what's happening with the amount of oil I caught coming out with the rag. And the other guy found a puddle way down low. So it's not that amount of oil came out, is that's where it pooled up in the engine. So I got to try to get my arm down into the same spot with a rag and some paper towels and clean out the puddle of oil, not the dime-sized spot I found on the top. No, when you stick your arm all the way down to your shoulder into the car, we pulled out a whole rag full of oil where it was gathering up. And it's just sitting there on a hot piece of metal in a ridge, boiling. Okay, this is not good stuff. But it could be, I'm not even going to say it, but you can, all right? It could be, but it's not. So as long as I do what he says, everything should be okay for the next, 20 days. But that's where we are. So I'm going to talk to them tomorrow, make an appointment for the first week, a day or two after I get paid, and set that up temporarily. I can always try and bump it up because I'm sure they could, maybe squeeze me in somehow. But the problem is, that's the other thing. I also have to stay with the vehicle. I got nowhere to go. So I have to stay at the place, sorry, I forgot, where I'm getting the repair done. Two of the places don't have a waiting room. It's just sitting in the dirt parking lot. They don't even have a paved parking lot. They don't have a waiting room. They have a bathroom. That's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. Yuck. And there's nowhere to sit except the floor outside. Well, right now it's a little cold to be sitting outside for 5 hours. The temperature, the wind, and I'll be sitting on the floor. I don't have my camping chair. I don't have none of that. I have a little blow-up pillow, but for some reason my pump went missing. That blows that up, but I couldn't sit outside. We have a steady 12 to 20 mile an hour wind here off the river and the ocean. You can't sit outside. Even sitting in the sun, the wind is killing you. You're freezing while you're sitting in the sun with 18 mile an hour wind blowing 50-degree air at you that now feels like 40. Okay, just the wind chill alone, dealing with sitting outside right now. I can't do it, and can't guarantee you what the temperature is going to be the day I make the repair. This is going to be into February. The end of this month, woof. Around between the 19th and the 25th is going to be even colder down here. That Arctic minus 50 is pushing down, and it's going to take our 43 degrees back into we were 28 and 21 degrees, only maybe an hour north of me, and I can't go south. I'm as far south as I can go. There's a lot of crap going on in Fort Lauderdale. There's crap going on just everywhere. An hour below me, you can't go there. You are not safe going an hour past anywhere near Fort Lauderdale to Miami. Can you hear that? All right, that crap's coming up here. There was a huge car crash last night. Somebody's tire and the whole axle is sitting on the side of the road. There are car parts everywhere when I pulled out of the parking lot this morning. There were actually pieces in Aldi's parking lot. Now, second safety tip. Do not park if you got a roadway and here's the road, here's the grass, now here's the parking lot you just pulled into right off the major road, okay? Do not park 6 feet away from the road, because those two cars crashed and ended up in the parking lot across the 6 feet of grass that's separating you from the 2-lane road. Now it's only 45 miles an hour, but that 45 miles an hour, somebody hits somebody, they're coming right at you. Happens all the time. Do not park near the roadway. Park in the back of the lot, on the side of the lot. Just don't do that. I've seen so many cars that were parked, people coming out of the grocery store, and there's another car sitting on top of your hood because it just got thrown off the road over the 6 feet of grass, and now it's hit you, or sitting on top of your car because it went up the curb and landed on top of the hood of the car that's in the parking lot. Okay, don't do that. Especially at night with all these idiots and they're fast and furious videotaping themselves. Some of them are dying. There's been multiple fatalities. They've turned A1A and US 1 into the most deadliest highways in the entire country. We have over 1,000 people dying every year on this road. There's only 365 days in a year, and we've got like 1,200 people dying from these car races. Okay, So yeah, stay off the major road when you're spending the night in a parking lot. My second thing to you guys is most of the truck stops do not have overnight parking anymore. Pilot, Flying J, and Love's 30-minute to 4-hour parking only. That's it. You can come and take a nap for people traveling, but they have stopped that. Cracker Barrels are not safe at all. Not at all, not at all, not at all. You all know what happened, getting surrounded by 4 guys in the middle of the night looking for money for more heroin. Okay? I'm sure I ran that asshole's foot over on the way out because I heard him scream and I didn't stop. It's not like they're going to call the cops on you. Okay? Just hit the gas and go. Just hit the gas and go, ladies. Especially if you're a woman and you're by yourself. Nobody's going to come after you for saving yourself from a bunch of animals coming at you in the middle of the night. And don't make friends with people in the parking lot. You know what I mean? You go there, you sleep, you don't get out of the car, you do everything you got to do before you pull in that parking lot where you're sleeping. We had a guy coming through, he was whacked out of his mind last night, talking to himself, screaming at God. This guy loses it. He hasn't been around for a long time. He's kind of harmless. He's a vet and he's gone. And he's still walking the streets for 3 years now. I don't know why the hospital has not taken him and gotten him into the VA or some kind of a facility, because this guy is not in his right mind. He has total PTSD where it's bad. It's really, really bad. Okay? I feel sorry for the dude, and so does everybody, but he's a big guy, huge, hulking dude. He's like 6'6" and like 300 pounds of muscle. But he's gone. He's shot. Whatever he did or whatever he saw, it's just he's stuck in a particular episode in his mind, and it won't stop. Okay, I've dealt with that with family members, my mother's brother. I had friends, just myself, with the airplanes and explosions and cars backfiring. Yeah, I'm still ducking for cover because that never goes away. I still have trouble being inside of a building. I had a whole house. Where did I spend my time? I was sleeping outside in the screen room because I was too afraid to be in the house because I couldn't see what was going on outside. It would wake me up out of a dead sleep. That's probably the one of the bigger issues that has lessened since I'm out here. And my father had the same thing. So wherever he was at some point, had a bomb dropped on whatever he was in, because my father was the same way. He was never happy unless he was outside. I get antsy, kind of claustrophobic feeling, it's just a very bad uneasiness. So PTSD sucks. It really does. Took me a long time to get over that. I mean, a really long time, especially after we were done working. And it didn't hit me right away. It was maybe 5 years after 9/11. It just got me. It just, for some reason, I started realizing what it was. I didn't realize so much because he had the trailer and I was spending so much time up there away from the city. My mother wanted me to get out, so I just stayed there, out in the woods, trying to, do your own therapy and get away from the city and all this stuff. She realized what was happening, and it was good. It was good. But anyway, I don't know why I got off on a tangent about that, but yeah. So everybody feels bad for this guy, and the hospitals just keep kicking him back out into the street. Nobody's doing anything for him for 3 years now. He has no money. I don't even know if this guy knows he's getting money. He's got to be pulling some kind of SSI or disability as a veteran, you're not making much. My father retired as a general. You know what he was pulling in from his army? $400 a month. A month. That's it. That's it, honey. That's it. These guys don't get paid. They get paid nothing. And you see these guys with 4 or 5 kids, they don't give them any more money. You get maybe $300 extra, so instead of $400, you're making $900. But, you got 2, 3 kids. These military guys and these families don't make anything. They are broke. And they still do it anyway. Same with the cops and the firemen. I don't know where everybody thinks cops and firemen are pulling in, like $70,000 a year. Absolutely not. My stepdad, on a good year, and that was with working overtime, and I'm talking like 20 hours of overtime a week, he was pulling in like 40 grand. 60 maybe tops if we had a lot going on, or people going on vacation and filling in the overtime. He was broke. And you got to pay for your own gear. Nothing is free. The Army, you got to pay for everything you wear. Cops got to pay for everything they wear. Firemen got to pay for everything they wear. Their own gear, nothing is paid for. Everything is out of pocket. Nothing is issued to you. And if it is, you got to give it back when you're done. So, yeah. So, no, these guys do not make a lot of money. And when they end up getting hurt and going out on disability, as you can see, the poverty level is $1,600 a month. We pull in, if we're lucky, $900. I'm under $900. I live on like $7,500 a year, $8,000. That ain't a lot of money, people. Not for what they do. Not for what they do. And, I don't know, I'm getting very cranky. I see what they're going through and what people are doing to them, and and they're out there in California picking up the park, which is in the central part of Los Angeles, I think, where the Rose Bowl, Pasadena. Must be Pasadena. Were they going to have the Rose Bowl played? They're worried about picking up the leaves. They're out there with rakes and garbage cans, and they're making they have hundreds of people who came to volunteer to pick up dead leaves and branches and pretty up the city because the tourists are coming to watch to watch this, the college Rose Bowl. Maybe those hundreds of people who are sitting there with a rake, and I mean a garbage bag, they're walking around with these, okay? Not a big big black bag, and like you see, you know what I mean? No, they're walking around with little tiny garbage bags, picking up tissues, and it was the most idiotic crap I saw today on the internet. Where are they helping anybody? Where the hell is 200,000 people? And at this point, you're looking at almost 1 million people going to be looking for a place to sleep in California. Now, the people in North Carolina, their hotel vouchers ran out. It's 30 degrees, 21 degrees, 18 degrees up there in the middle of blizzards and snowstorms going by week after week after week. These people are living in tents. From Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina. People in Florida are still homeless, but at least, DeSantis got his ass in gear and allowed those people to stay on their own property. We missed that by 48 hours. 48 hours before he signed those papers allowing you to stay on your property while you're making repairs, because you still have to pay the property tax, but you can't stay on your own property. That makes absolutely no sense. And you're supposed to have 24 hours to get out. They gave me and 300 other families that are still living in the park 3 years. This will be 3 years. since Nicole and Ian blew through and destroyed half of the East Coast and ruined our houses. Not to the extent over there, but we got molded out. And then they came and kicked us all out within a 3-day period. In 72 hours, 300 families with children are over there. Now, those people with kids get precedence over single people without children, which, of course, that's fine. You know, I'd rather the kids, you know, had electricity and water in the showers and stuff. And it's going to take all day to get up. So eventually you'll be watching this big, long, ranting video. But that's what's happening down here to our great governor. Yeah, he's a hell of a guy. 6 hours to get out. No money. We got no $2,000 FEMA money. That was gone. Bye-bye. They're telling them they have 72 hours to get out of the hotel. Tomorrow morning, hundreds of people are being thrown out of the hotels in North Carolina into the oncoming blizzard that's coming. Okay? Back into the street just in time for the 20-degree snowstorm to hit. And they're not making any kind of special accommodations for people with children. No, everybody's getting kicked out on Monday. But yet, when the big man took on an entire country of Puerto Rico when they got ravaged, 4 years they were living in Richard's Hotel, getting vouchers. They're still here. Some people never left and never went back to Puerto Rico. They put in to stay to become citizens because they are an annex or whatever they are to us, okay? Those people put in for citizenship to be able to stay here. Then what the government did was, because no one was really going anywhere and the hotels are greedy as shit, started renting out apartments, hotel rooms as apartments. Before Richard died, there was 65 families out of 300 still living at his hotel permanently. They even took on some of the men and women into the maintenance crew, and the rest of the women started working in hospitality services, the maids, okay? Coming and cleaning the room. So now they live and work at the hotel. But we can't do nothing for the people over here, the 300 families, including myself, who got nothing but kicked into the street with 6 hours to get off your property. Yes, I was sneaking back in and forth, getting other stuff that I had forgotten about. I was making 3 a.m. raids on my own house while everyone was sleeping to sneak back in, get what I needed, and leave again, you know. Things I had forgotten about, but, yeah. So, no, everything is not hunky-dory back here in Florida. And everybody's vouchers are now running out all at the same time. And some of the places that they were putting them up in, like a Motel 6, Holiday Inn Express, and they were in really crappy areas, okay? They weren't staying at the Hyatt, the Hilton, the Wyndham, the Marriott, you know, $500 a night hotel rooms with food vouchers. No, all they got was a place to sleep in a shitty, broken down, moldy ass motel. So that's what's happening here. How things by you? So yeah, we're all going through a lot of crap down here. And the South is not a happy place to be. And yeah, again, on your way down here, watch the news and go on and look at the crime reports again, please, for the cities you're thinking of hanging out in. Okay? Some place may have been fine in, you know, when you were here in August, and in the last couple of months, things are getting kind of shitty, and, you know, that's that. So, check the crime reports on the cities where you're going, and don't get out of your car wherever you're spending the night. Just stay in your car, stop making friends with people over there, because you're going to think that this is the nicest person you've ever met in your life, and they're going to give you a whole BS story, and you're going to find out come 3 a.m. like I did that they're not. That they're a bunch of junkies who took a shower at the gym to look good, to come over to make friends, just to see. You know what I mean? So don't be making friends in the parking lots, and don't park near the street. Park in the back, far away from the street. Okay, guys? Because there are a lot of crazy accidents down here. There's too many people. Everybody's nuts. And it's too overcrowded. Every day there's like 20 accidents over here. It's nuts. There's cars all over the sidewalk. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. So yeah, this will probably take 6 hours to get this up. What time is it now? Just so you see how long it takes me to get something up. 20 to 12. Let's see how long this guy takes to get up today, okay? Love you guys. If you can, help me out. I'd appreciate it. If you could send $1 to the P.O. box, I'd appreciate it. If not, the GoFundMe will be up till Tuesday morning. Then I'm going to end that and, collect the money. And yeah, so that's where we are. I hope that answered all the guys who were trying to help me out. Thank you for your comments. And it gave me something to look for so that I know when other lights start popping on the dashboard, just in case. This takes me a little longer to get this done and actually get an appointment to get the car fixed. I appreciate anything. You had troubles with it, let me know, kind of thing. This way I could have something at least in the back of my head to know. But yeah, I've been very vigilant at checking prices, checking everything to make sure everybody's on the up and up, and that's that. And thank you for all the good wishes and stuff, guys. So let me get this off. 57 minutes. I'll see you guys soon. Fingers crossed I get a decent appointment. Gonna go see them again tomorrow. And that's it. Jane is out. We'll see you later. That's that. Love you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.